Now stand by for me.
Rev-Up St. Lucia is located at Unit 4, Gablewoods Mall, Sunny Acres, Gas-Free St. Lucia. Tune in on 95.9 FM or online at revupslu.com. Call the studio at 572-9710 or WhatsApp 287-0971. Call the office at 572-0383 or 572-0215. Rev-Up St. Lucia, the alpha of radio.
It's now time for Meet the Minister, hosted by Terence Fenelon. Mr. Fenelon, good to see you again. Good morning.
Good morning, Brother Andre Paul. Nice to be back.
All is well?
Yes, I should be asking you that. Nice to see the smile on your face in spite of.
Life goes on.
Life goes on. Yeah, that's what it is. Life goes on, it goes on. So again, we sympathize with you. And I think, next week Friday we shall not be on because that's the funeral service of Tony Paul.
Yes, correct.
And so we will not be on. We'll be attending the funeral service for your brother, Tony Paul.
Thank you.
And stuff. So it's nice. So those of you who have tuned in on Facebook, YouTube, X, and we have to shout out Soufriere, the home of Auntie Emma, We have changed frequency now. We are 95.9 FM.
Yes.
And that's around the island?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, your signal is strong, man.
Even stronger.
You're stronger. Steady, man. You're holding steady. You're like the Prime Minister, man. Steady as you go, Andre. Steady as you grow. As you go. Yeah, so it's nice to be back, Andre. And today I have a special guest. He's special in many ways, We have a special relationship. You didn't know that, right?
No.
You know it's a relationship, Andre?
I used to teach him as well.
You're a bright fella, Andre. Right, what I'm saying, you're a bright fella, but you're perceptive. You can pick up a lot of things. I have the Honorable Wayne Girard. Welcome, Minister.
Morning.
It's nice, always nice to have to see my students who have excelled. Curly, Calix has been here several times, and when my go-to guy. When I'm stranded, and now I have a genius. We're gonna see where I refer to him as he's in the Ministry of Finance, but he's really the Prime Minister's right-hand man when it comes to finance. So let me just ask him to introduce himself a bit and tell us, his role in the Ministry of Finance.
So how do I call? Do I call you sir?
You call me whatever you want.
Remember, we were taught not for school, but
for life. That's right. That's right. So,
welcome, Mr. Girard.
Thank you very much.
Good to have you.
Andrew, let me express my condolences to you as well.
Thank you.
But so before I go into the role of the Ministry of Finance, I think it's important for us for me, and good morning to my constituents of Anseri Canaries. Good morning to listeners, viewers. I think it's important for me to express my condolence for the families who've suffered loss in this country.
Yes.
I think it is a tragedy, to be quite honest. Every loss of life is a concern for us as a government. We are sincere in our pronouncements in making sure all of what is available for the police is made available to allow them to fight crime. We have pursued a policy of being tough on crime and tough also on the causes of crime. And that is why we spend so much time and energy ensuring that we provide support to as many young people who avail themselves to it. So I really want to express my condolence to the families who are grieving at the moment, and I want to assure them that this government will continue to do whatever we can to deal with the issues of crime, tough on crime and tough on the causes of crime. With regard to the Ministry of Finance, so it's been a singular honor, to be quite honest, to been able to spend so much time working with the Prime Minister. When we got into government in July 2021, the debt to GDP ratio was 100% as of December 31st, 2021. And this is a significant metric because it points to the relationship between what the government earns and what the government spends. We found ourselves in a situation where that was the situation. We also had a serious issue of youth unemployment and also general unemployment, which is also a major issue. So the Prime Minister sat with us and says these are not acceptable metrics. He promised the people of Sunshine he will deliver for them, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is if we stabilize the finances of the country. The other very interesting metric we need to bear in mind is to point to the significance of what the Prime Minister has achieved. Is 15% of our revenues was going towards servicing interest. Any other country in the OECS who went through that similar situation had to resort to the IMF. So it points to the steady hand and the leadership of the Prime Minister, that he was able to bring us back from the brink to a situation where now we're having surpluses for the last several years. We've also been able to grow this economy since 1992 at a consistent rate of above 3%. Another remarkable feat. We in the Ministry of Finance believe that we need to prepare St. Lucia not only for today, but what's going to be coming down the horizon. We are. If anyone wants to be fair, look at the news. We are operating now in a bit of a fog of uncertainty. It is a very difficult place to be in. Every morning you wake up, either there's a new tariff announcement, there is a new issue somewhere in the world that causes significant pressure on us. We would like to do a lot more for the people of St. Lucia, but we need to be responsible and refrain from being reckless, which is some of the words referred to the former Minister of Finance, Prime Minister. We are measured and deliberate in what we do in order to deliver and secure the future of St. Lucia.
Yeah, okay, now you said a lot there. Now I want us to take our time to explain that.
Yes.
The first thing you said was the debt to GDP ratio.
Yeah.
We were always told that it was about 94. But in the House of Assembly, you made a startling revelation. When you talk about contingency liabilities,
Correct.
I think we need to explain that, what these were, and then what it really means that when we have a debt to GDP ratio of 102, percent, because I don't think the ordinary man really understand and the significance and how damaging that can be to our country.
So it's just simply a matter of, let's just assume you are 100% would represent your total earnings.
Yes.
When you get to a situation where your debt is 101% of that earnings, it simply means you're not earning enough to service your debt on a very simple level. The question for us is, when they say the 92%, are they being deliberate in living out a very significant part of our debt portfolio, which is the contingent liability, which is the payables, which is the DFCs, which they engaged in? Or are they just not sophisticated enough to recognize when you're reporting debt, it's better to give the totality, so people understand very well where they are at any single point in time? So that basically is what it is with regards to that.
So you're telling the people that in a household,
Correct.
if you're earning $100,
Yes.
but you have to spend $102, so you have nothing
Correct.
left
Nothing
to do
for
anything.
savings,
So that is where the
nothing-
country was at.
Nothing for savings, nothing to put into social programs, nothing to allow us to be tough on the causes of crime. We're not making excuses for crime, but the point of the matter is we need to be tough on crime and also tough on the causes of crime. We need to make as much as possible the avenues available for every St. Lucian who is well-meaning to aspire to what they want to aspire. Being on the block is not the only option for you in this country at this point in time. Yes, there are issues, and I'm no specialist in crime, so I won't spend too much time speaking specifically about it. But what I do recognize is we have created the avenues for every young person in this country, whether they want to start up their own business, pursue educational training, mentorship, holding of hands, whatever it is they require. We've made sure we've made ourselves available. When you look at the sporting facility, you may say, what about recreational space for them? You would remember when we went to Parliament to authorize the borrowing for the $80 million
yes.
to upgrade the sporting facilities around the country. Everyone would have remembered what the opposition said. They did not make the connection between sports, access to recreational facility, and giving the young people an opportunity to burn out some of that excess energy that they have. So it is really a significant milestone for us to be able to get to this point today, to say that we've brought down the debt to GDP ratio. Our interest servicing is a lot less. We have now embarked on a policy of pursuing concessional funding, low interest rate funding, moving away from taking those very short-term, high-yielding, high interest rate loans, which was really the working tool of the previous administration. Why that was the method that they choose, when they get the opportunity to explain, they'll explain themselves.
Yeah.
But certainly we have embarked on something a lot more sustainable for the country.
So just for the listening public, let's go back to contingent liabilities. Just spend a little minute explaining, because you talk about DFCs and all these kind of things. I think we need to understand why it is, what it is that this will, and why that contributed to the debt.
So governments have at their disposal various mechanisms to raise and fund and service initiatives that they want to undertake. You could either do it for central government, you could either do it through borrowing, or you could do it where you allow the contracting party and not any particular individual to take on the risk. But at the end of the day, you are ultimately still responsible for it.
Yeah.
So it's as if you're in a household, you know you've given your child access to something. For example, you give your child access to a credit card. When that falls due, you are ultimately responsible.
Right.
So it's the same sort of philosophy that applies to the government. We have agencies who are able to go out and borrow based on the balance sheet, but at the end of the day, the government of St. Lucia is fundamentally responsible for it. So it forms part of what you say contingent liability and the obligations of the state.
Yeah, so that is a responsibility that we have.
Correct. A responsibility we have.
And this is not you saying that. This is compiled by the World Bank and IMF, right?
And whenever they make the point about this country is failing, this country is this country is that, if that were the case, you'd not be seeing the amount of investment we have in this country at this point in time. And one simply needs to point to every single year, and very shortly in a few weeks, there will be an article for consultation, where the IMF comes in and examines your books.
Right.
And then they put out a report saying where you are. If they go back to the report of 2022, the debt to GDP figure I'm referring to that they sometimes want to play around with, they could go into the report which verifies exactly what I'm saying. I'm not in this business, to be quite honest with you, to play games. I never got into politics for that side of things. I believe I have a responsibility to be truthful, not only to myself, to my family. I'm carrying a name that I inherited. This is a name, to be quite honest with you, that I have a certain responsibility for, and I take it very seriously. I am not going to engage in certain kinds of politics because I have a responsibility to my family, my immediate family, and my extended family.
So okay. So I mean, we came from a situation where, it's well known now. It's not up for debate. It's not to argue. The economy dipped. I mean,
Correct.
Some people try to attribute that to COVID, but we knew that the economy was sinking long before COVID. Long before. And if you could simply take a measurement of 2016 to 2019. And by the way, St. Lucians, I want you to also bear in mind, at one point, St. Lucia experienced a financial crisis. Not St. Lucia, but the world experienced it was a far difficult situation than COVID. At this COVID, you could have said, this is going to end at a particular time. The countries opened up, things started to move again, but with regards to the financial crisis, no one actually knew when the issues surrounding it were going to come to an end. If you came into government in 2016 with surpluses, a healthy economy, a healthy budget, a healthy balance, why by the time you got to 2019 is a very precarious situation? It is because of the recklessness of the then Minister of Finance, and he needs to be able to answer for it. It's because of the recklessness of the former Minister of Finance. The same staff in the Ministry of Finance now are the ones producing all of the great results, helping us produce the great results that we're doing now. It speaks to the leadership, the maturity, and the appreciation for people's opinion, people's point of view from this current Prime Minister, Minister of Finance. So that point you have made, let me stick here. Because you're saying that's the same staff, personnel, same staff with the skill sets to do that. So why was it necessary to bring in Ernst & Young and pay them that mammoth amount of money, $50 million to prepare the budget? I mean, explain that to me.
And that's one case, Cayman City, to help with the transition for the right. Andrew, I can't understand it. I to be honest, when you look at the quality of the staff, I mean, only yesterday we launched the climate finance unit, which is a very significant thing for the country. We're essentially saying to St. Lucia, rather than have a piecemeal approach to dealing with the issues concerning climate finance, we are now going to have a coordinated mechanism to be able to deal with those issues. Because climate finance, climate issues, climate change is not going away. So what do we do as a country? Do we sit by and just allow things to happen and then do we respond? Or do we put things in place to be able to deal with the issues going forward? So the same staff, the same brilliant staff, the same hardworking staff are who is helping us now deliver the results to the people of St. Lucia. So why go to Ernst & Young? Why go to Cayman City? That is the question that the former government needs to explain to the people of St. Lucia. Why? Because I can't see why. Because I'm working with the staff on a daily basis, and I swear to you, I'm impressed with the determination and the hard work. If you go into this building at 7 o'clock in the morning, you start to see staff filing at the Ministry of Finance. They're very, very serious set of individuals. And I'm so grateful that we had the opportunity to work with them and to deliver for the people of St. Lucia. So when you say the Prime Minister says there's a bonus for civil servants, they deserve it. They deserve it. And anyone who says that they don't deserve it needs to examine what they've been able to achieve from 2021 to now. They deserve every additional benefit that the government could provide to them. So basically, what I can deduce from what you're saying there, the difference is leadership. management leadership.
Leadership.
Yeah.
You see, the word leadership came out of our mouth at the same time.
That's what
because
it
you have the same staff
Seems that.
who reigned under the previous administration.
Correct.
They were not allowed to function. They
Correct.
must have been demotivated and demoralized
Demoralized.
because other people are coming to do their work.
Correct.
And now you have a man who is steady,
Yes,
prudent,
yes.
and he's taken, from what I understand, he's taking advice. And they are producing 4 years of
We
consequence.
would be in meetings, and the Prime Minister would very openly say, if you disagree, say you disagree. To the staff, to the finance technicians.
Without any fear of reprisal or
Yes,
victimization
so
or
this is
anything
what
like
we're thinking. This is what we want to achieve. What do you suggest? How do we go about doing it? And then when you come and you say, okay, this way, he says to you, but what about thinking about this way? But it speaks to the maturity of Philip Joseph,
the Prime Minister.
the Prime Minister of this country. Andre, St. Lucians needs to think very carefully about what he has been able to achieve given everything that he came in and found in 2021. This is a remarkable man. One may say I have my bias, but it's a well-placed bias. Our country is safe with Philip Joseph Pierre.
Yeah, so...
Now is not the time to experiment.
That's right.
The same candidates that were thrown out of government in 2021 are the same ones presenting themselves now, not with any new ideas, not with anything new. They are on the same old nasty, disrespectful type of politics. Kenny Anthony has served this country remarkably. Why would a one-time member of parliament who, on paper, whether you go on the ground, was not able to deliver for a constituency, want to take on Kenny Anthony? I can't understand it.
Irritant,
Why
petulant,
Kenny
arrogant.
Anthony? Why Kenny Anthony? And if he understands the culture of the countryside and country people, he knows we don't disrespect our elders. We may disagree with them, but we don't disrespect them. And what he's doing or was attempting to do very badly at it. It took 9 years to be able to
10
say,
years.
to be able to say
Kudi.
Kudi, but he says Kudi. I don't understand. But what he doesn't recognize is it's a disservice to people who want to get involved in politics. We don't deserve anything but the best and the brightest getting involved in politics, and we don't want to dissuade them from getting involved in politics. Those actions threaten not only the immediate politics, but the future of this country. We need to take those things very, very, very seriously.
Yeah, now, one of the things that we followed in the House, something I think the Prime Minister says, you have to go to England and stuff. It's a sovereign wealth fund.
Correct.
Let's explain to the people what that is.
Correct.
Yes.
And again, it's another mechanism where we say we're preparing for the future. Typically, so Andre, what you find is a situation where we usually pass on debt and crises to young people. We're saying we have this mechanism in place where in the future you have something to fall back on. So this is simply a matter of us preparing for tomorrow. So a sovereign wealth fund is simply a savings account for the country, where we put aside, whether it is from revenue, taxes, or for other investments, a certain amount to save for the future, so that when the next generation takes over this country, they would have received not only issues and debt, but a significant pot of money to be able to deal with the challenges of the future. It goes hand in hand with the Climate Finance Unit. It goes hand in hand with our arrangements for blue bonds and thematic bonds. It's just giving St. Lucia the opportunity to do things differently for a different result.
So, Mr. Gerard, so what happens if you have an administration who comes into power and destroys it?
And that's a very serious consideration that we need to move away in this country and in this region. There are some things we should not play politics with.
Yes.
Economic stability, crime, health, we should not play politics with it. Because whether you're in opposition or you're in government, you must recognize the significance of it. When you hear them speak about the cost of living and we have this 2.5 levy, everyone knows, and if you're not too sure, you could verify this. If you want better health outcomes, you need to be spending between 6 and 8% of your GDP. Better health outcomes. At the moment, we're inching towards 4% since we came into government, and we want to do more. How do you raise the money to be able to do more for the people of St. Lucia? So it's a very cheap shot to say, oh, we just callous on the levy. But we need to understand, if we want better health outcomes for our citizens, there's a metric that explains what you need to do to be able to deliver that. And that's simply what we're trying to approach. This is not about us just looking to tax the people of St. Lucia. And furthermore, when you actually look to see what the tax to GDP ratio of this country is, again, it's an international metric. Anybody could go online and check it. we are not overtaxing the people of this country.
Right.
So that's a fact. So when you hear them talking about the overtax, the overburden of the people of St. Lucia, it is a blatant lie. And I think as professionals, you could play politics. You could criticize policies of the government, but there are certain things that should be sacrosanct and we should take very, very seriously.
Yeah.
So, are there I'm sorry about that. Are there things you can put in place to protect that fund?
Well, you could re-elect the government again.
That's right.
So that's
That's the safest way.
That's the immediate one that comes
safest
to
way.
mind.
Yeah.
You could literally say to Philip Juppé and the St. Lucia Labour Party, we believe you, we trust you, we see what you're doing, and we'll give you another term. Or the people of St. Lucia could just start to demand more from politicians and from politics.
Yeah.
We have a responsibility to demand more from them. You cannot, just because you feel like something was not your idea, not your initiative, to just set it aside. It is not for you, it is not
No,
for me.
use it for another purpose.
Yes, yes.
Like the fallen highway, which was signed by we had this loan of the curators, which would have alleviated this nightmare. You came in and you just tore up the contract. You understand?
I mean,
and these are the kind of things that people don't have to. There's continuity in government. We should not have been in this position
Correct.
here. The HIA, the PPP for the HIA.
Correct.
You know, we should not have been in this position now. The HIA should have been delivered long.
And you know what's very interesting, as you mentioned HIA, this current Prime Minister, Minister of Finance, he apologized to the IFC. And it was not him who made a disparaging remark about them.
Yes.
It was the former Prime Minister, the former government. But as far as he's concerned, he is now
because
the
it's
leader
the
of
government.
this country.
Yes.
He apologized and said to them, the statements that came out, the reckless statements that came out from the former Prime Minister, the former Minister of Finance, we apologize for it. We are going to operate differently with our agencies and our partners. It was wrong of him to castigate the IFC in such a manner. And we had to apologize for it.
And we paid a hefty fine too.
And we paid a hefty fine. But you could see that the relationship between those international agencies and the government of St. Lucia is far more improved now than it was before 2020.
You spoke of health. Now, I know you are a numbers man. You're not reckless. You're very thorough.
Yep.
You understand? Did you see any white paper when you came in there in terms of the health insurance? Because these guys are proposing something and they cannot say how they're going to pay for it. Did you see anything? And when you crunch the numbers,
we're still looking for it.
Still looking for that.
But it's very easy again, and I made that point in Parliament. When you don't have to deal with the weight of decision making, you could sit in opposition and just be reckless and say what you want.
Yes.
But when you have to deal with the consequence and the weight of that decision, it is important to be measured and deliberate in what you do and what you say. We have not been able to find. The Minister of Health has not been able to come to Cabinet to say, colleagues, this is what is available.
Yes.
How can we proceed? What we did find was the issue of the vaccines. What we did find was some of the other reckless things that they did. And again, I want solutions to point to an example. When we came into government in 2021, the then Minister of Finance, Prime Minister, could have gone on the airwaves and said to St. Lucia, we're in a very dire situation for political reasons. But it would not have benefited the country. That maturity needs to be respected and appreciated. He could have simply said, you know, this is what we found. And to be honest with you, we are on the brink of having to resort to the IMF. He didn't do that. He didn't take the chance and say he's going to be reckless with statements just because he wants to penalize Alan Chasney. No, he sat down and we committed to doing the work. Long hours, long days of going through the detailed, specific information and coming up with ideas to be able to rescue this country. So today, when we sit here and we say, yes, we've been able to achieve economic growth, economic stability, low unemployment, low youth unemployment, that is as a result of leadership, management, and hard work.
Of the civil servants in the Ministry of Finance, the same citizen that he came,
civil
servants with the skill set, and they're able to turn 4 years of positive
negative. So they came in, when we came in, so they said between 2016 and 2019, everything was okay until COVID came. But where was the money that you were putting aside between 2016 and 2019 when things were, as you say, very good?
The logbook.
Where was it? Where is it?
Yeah.
And there's so much more around this economic management and economic stability that every St. Lucia needs to appreciate. All of what we're achieving as a result of a country now, all of the resources we're making available to police, to teachers, to nurses, is because of economic management.
Yeah.
So we need to make that a very central thing in everything that we need to consider. Is this country going to be run better with Philippe Juppé, or is it going to be run better with whoever comes, whether it is in any other version of the new United Workers' Party, because it's not the United Workers' Party.
You spoke of payables, and I think the Prime Minister, you were in the House, about $180 million in payables.
Correct.
I mean, and this guy boasted about borrowing so much money, and we left so much debt. What's the situation in the payables now? Because that's money injected into the economy.
And when you say payables, we must understand every small business that you don't pay, you are essentially endangering their survival and their success.
Almost crippling them. Yes.
So when you have small businesses in St. Lucia, medium businesses in St. Lucia, that the government had owed significant sums of money, why would you do that?
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? They need the revenue to be able to function. Why would you not deal with that issue?
Mm-hmm.
So it speaks again to the just lack of concern, lack of caring of the previous Prime Minister, former Prime Minister.
Now, I'm going to speak to the man's brilliance. Camilo Gonzalez. Man, I wish we were on television so I could have played that video. I mean, the man was up in praise at the Council of Finance Ministers, and you were the one on that board, not the great Philip J.
Yeah.
I mean, as I know,
at the BS of the Prime Minister.
Yes, because he has confidence in you. He knows your skill set. He knows what you're capable. He knows your brilliance.
Yep.
But it's not only that. I heard Carmelo Gonzalez, man. I mean, and I was like, cheese on bread, man. So tell us about it. What it took place at the Council of Finance Ministers during COVID that he was so much effusive in his praise to you.
It's the Economic Affairs Council of the OECS.
Yes.
The Prime Minister was so gracious to allow me to chair.
Mm-hmm.
And my fundamental point to everything that I do is I'm not very good at boasting or bragging, to be honest with you. I'm always been a very good student in that sense. I take my responsibilities very serious. So if I'm assigned something, I put my hat and everything into it. Whether you have no time or little time for recreation, to eat, to sleep. Because we have a tremendous responsibility, you know. I have to, every single day, every Monday when we get into cabinet, we start with prayers, and then the Prime Minister gives us a speech about why we're here. Every Monday, and it's been happening for 4 years. And he says every single Monday before we start cabinet, we are only here to serve the people of St. Lucia. Nothing else. We say our prayers, we start with the people of St. Lucia. And before we leave on an evening, again, the speech, why you are here, is to deliver for the people of St. Lucia. When I became the chairman of the Economic Affairs Council, there were certain things that, based on what is available, that I think we could have done to advance this economic union. It's difficult for you to say to a man to move to St. Vincent, for example, to set up a business, but he can't move his account as easily as he can. To move to St. Vincent, but he can't move his insurance as easy as he can. So we went through a series of things to enable the functioning and the realization of that dream of economic union. It was a very short chairmanship, but I made sure I did everything that I could at the time with the staff of the OECS, with deceased Elma Jean Isaac, to be quite honest with you. She was very instrumental in assisting me in understanding the processes and the working relationship of the OECS, the CARICOM, etc. And I'll miss her very dearly because she was one of those professionals, again, within the civil service, that may have their own political views. That's a constitutional right,
yes.
to have your political view. But we don't see you as representatives of any political party. You have talent to bear. We take we make it available, and we make use of it. So it's really a team effort, really, to be able to achieve what we did for the Economic Affairs Council. Well, so yes, I heard about the Camelo statement, and I thank him dearly for that. But it's really a team effort. To be
well, I mean, when I came out and the way he said that, man, I have that unlocked to play at another time. You understand? But just briefly before we move on to other things, you talk about investment, and there seems to be a lot of investor confidence in this present administration. Just tell us what's on the horizon and what are the things that are.
It's really, again, speaks to the independence of the organizations who verify the data and the information coming out of St. Lucia. So when the United Workers' Party, or whoever they may choose to refer to themselves as, make very loose statements, the investor may hear you. Yes, he'll take it into consideration. It may increase his political risk insurance. However, when he goes and he reviews the Article 4 consultation reports, the World Bank reports, he reviews our budget, he gets the sense that this country is being managed properly. So he then decides to make the investment. When you see the amount of hotels, whether being done now on the pipeline, the housing that's about to start in Canaries, the housing that we're doing in Roseau, the housing that we're doing in Ancillary, it's all because of investor confidence. So at the end of the day, they may think when they go on social media and they just say things loosely, it is having a particular effect. Yes, it may raise the political risk insurance for the investor coming in. But also when he looks on paper and he sees the value proposition, St. Lucia now is a great place to invest.
Yeah.
And that's why you've seen that level of investment. It's simply because based on paper from independent agencies, not just what we put out in the budget, what the Prime Minister says, what Minister says, is the independent verification from international agencies that has encouraged that level of investment.
Yeah, and the economy is doing well. And one of the metrics, one of the things that you would gauge, if you go on the docks now,
Yes.
there is absolutely no space to park. I had the employees have to find place to park because the containers.
Yesterday I was speaking to the CEO of SLASFA about it. It's a real issue for us, and I know we need to have some conversations about it. It is a real issue for us. We're literally bursting at the seams.
It seems, yeah.
Because of this level of heightened investment in this country. I mean, I was driving through Castries last night on my way back from my constituency, and very prominent in the skyline is the NH crane.
Yes.
That's a significant indication. It's not just, it's a significant milestone. So I personally have every confidence in the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance. He gave me a challenge on Sunday and he says to me, I have a tremendous responsibility to ensure that the Ancillary Canaries seat
stays home.
But the United Workers' Party choose to see a negative in it. When in fact he was saying to me to safeguard the people of this country and do not allow this particular individual to get back into Parliament. A few minutes after that, having said that, he was in Jackman attacking the Prime Minister. Where is your vision and your view for the constituency? You were there. You were a member of Parliament. You were the Minister of Tourism. What did you do to encourage tourists who are on the way to Soufrière? We know what 90% of the tourists head down to Soufrière, by sea or by road. What did you do to encourage them to stop and spend money in Ancillary Canaries? He speaks about bed and breakfast and all the rest of that stuff. At the moment, there were 14 registered bed and breakfasts in Ancillary. Why take government's money and build a facility to compete with your constituents? Why not use that same money to upgrade or make available other areas, for example, other offices, so people in Ancillary don't have to leave Ancillary to come to town to do certain basic things from the government? Why was it so important to do the bed and breakfast? But depends on who you speak to. You hear the reasons behind it. But not only that, there was no consideration for the sewer treatment plant, which we are now putting in. As we speak, it's being built. So as soon as that is completed, we will move to open, despite my disagreement with the bed and breakfast. I think we should have done something differently. We could have taken that money and help the other small bed and breakfasts in the constituency, in the community, to upgrade their product, to work with community tourism agency, which is what we're doing now, to upgrade their plant, rather than investing in building something to compete directly with them. They didn't put you in power to do that.
So let's move now seamlessly to the works done. And I have before me now, unfortunately I can't show it on TV.
Yes.
Honorable Wayne Girard delivers.
Yes.
And some people are saying, we're going to open the lines because they must talk to you. And Andre might give us some extra time because he interjected into my interview there. So he has to give me my time back. Say that Wayne has done nothing. And I'm looking at it's a short list.
Right. And it's not the extensive list. It's literally a bridge version. The rest will come out.
The construction of the West Coast Fire Station.
Correct.
That is
a significant achievement. And again, if you an opposition and you believe in your country, you believe in politics, in this process, rather than say, oh, he built a building but there's no fire appliance, no ambulance, ask the question. And then I'll be able to say to you, yes, we've already procured an ambulance, and yes, we've already procured the fire truck, which is in St. Lucia already, waiting for the opening of the West Coast Fire Station.
So there'll be 2 ambulances.
There'll be an ambulance and a fire and appliance.
Yeah, but I think there'll be 2 ambulances because this guy
if you could find
collected money, I understand, for ambulance.
If we could find it.
If you could find it. But he's on record as saying he held this and that for the ambulance.
It's always very interesting or passing strange that you're trying to raise revenue for a noble cause, but the cost of having the activity leaves you very little to be able to then use to then fund what you say you're going to fund.
But stick up in there. You know, I just said that. Let me circle back to something. The 102%.
Yeah, 101.
101.
Yeah.
You know that I now am beginning to understand why they had to had to have balls to fund the police.
Correct.
Because there's no money in the kitty
Correct.
to do what they were supposed to have been doing.
And they were nitpicking. So, for example, when they realized an issue, they would remove the training budget.
Right.
Why would you do that?
Yes.
They would gamble and make certain decisions rather than doing the hard work.
Yes.
Sit at your desk and do the hard work. When you get a report from the agencies, look for it, deal with it, rather than just playing it by ear. This is the lives and of the people of St. Lucia we're dealing with, and it's a very serious responsibility. And if I'm accused of anything, it is simply I take it too seriously. But I made an oath. I went to Parliament twice. I went and swore an oath to become the Member of Parliament, and I swore an oath to be a Minister of Government. Those things are important to me, and I take it very seriously.
Yeah, so you have placed that in context why it is that they could not use tax money to give the police, unlike what we see now, bulletproof vests, because there is excess
vehicles
and prudent management and stuff. All right. So let's run some of the things that you have done in answer canneries before we open the lines, you know?
So we've done, we are working on the fire station. We're now doing the work to get a new police station for ancillary. We have now started work on all of the health facilities in the Constituency, but it will be done in sequence. So we've started on the one in Vanna. Once that is complete, we do the one in Jackmel and we do the one in Canneries. We've rehabilitated most of the sporting facilities in the constituency. Some of them are still undergoing. So, for example, the one in Ansari, there still needs to be some painting of the court. But the one in Canneries is complete, the field is complete. In Jackmel, the court is pretty much complete, waiting the arrival of the lights. The lights for the field is already been placed on the ground. Would you believe there was a field in the Jackmel community? We have a Roseville Valley team in that valley. And that field in the community was not FIFA qualified. That Roseville Valley team would not have been able to have or host any successful matches in that community. So what we decided is to expand the field and replace the footing of the lights. A lot was done, Andrew, and so a lot was done to give the impression that there was some desire to improve the quality of sporting facilities in the constituency. Ask anyone in the constituency, from Tetchime to Buto, what was inherited in 2021 and what you see now happening on the ground. So I know there's a list, and I keep making this point, and I know I'm always in trouble for it, to be quite honest with you. Why are you not speaking more about what you've done for the people of Ansari Canneries? It's not my money, it's the government of St. Lucia's money. And yes, we should highlight the infrastructural improvement that we've done, but a lot of what has happened in Ansari Canneries in terms of building up that dignity and that pride is not something you want to share on social media. I fundamentally disagree in handing backpacks, pencils, exercise books, grocery vouchers, hampers to people using their picture for a minister could look good. It is a dangerous thing that we're doing. And I get in trouble for it all the time. I'm told all it takes is what you need to do, but I have a fundamental...
when somebody's already in need, and then you do that, I understand that.
It may make you look good.
But
think of the long-term consequence, the psychological impact on the child, the parent. When they go to school, what happens to them? How it affects their learning, their outcomes. So there's a lot that we've done and we will continue to do in Ansari Canneries. The fundamental point is this. We want to create a local economy for Ansari Canneries. We want to arrive at a situation where in Ansari Canneries, you could generate revenue. So that is why we have embarked with community tourism to reignite the fish fry. We are now developing an area in Ansari which we will call the chalet, where we could put on various cultural performances because we have the talent. We are embarking on the underwater sculpture park. We have now started work on the jetty in Canneries. We are now working with the Catholic Church to reconfigure the old church in Canneries. All to say, we want to find ourselves in a situation where you could earn money right there in the community. This is fundamentally what it's about. So we did the infrastructural bits, we did the human development bits, and as time goes by, we will continue to see a different Ansari, a different kind.
So you will not be stealing any ideas to enrich yourself.
I don't need to do that. And they kept making the point about me having to repeat something about the bamboo rafting. The truth of the matter is, there was a discussion in the community about ways of raising revenue for the community.
For the community.
Bamboo rafting was one of those suggestions. You can't now say to me, that is what you are the proprietor of. What happened? And everybody knows, and he knows, that while he was the Minister of Tourism, the work had already started. I met the person who was, we would say, in place for him until he lost the election. Why? It's a community idea. Even if you decided, okay, I was the member of parliament, that idea came up. I'm no longer the member of parliament. Do you have no kind of decency? Why would you go and invest in something that the community told you they needed? It just strikes me as very odd.
So that the young men and women that could have been putting a living.
Foolishness. You could have invested and let them be the proprietors of it, let them be the owners of it, rather than you coming and doing this particular idea. So you see, this particular gentleman does not have the constituency at heart. When I sit here, Andre, and so this is 100 years of family giving service to community. You know, my great-grandfather, my grandfather, my grandmother, my aunts and uncles. So I'm coming into this particular position of responsibility with a lot of hindsight and a lot of knowledge in terms of where we were and where we're supposed to be going to. So it's something that I take very, very, very seriously. This gentleman cannot say the same. If you look at every single thing that he purports to have done in the constituency, it amounted to naught. I am being able to demonstrate to the people of Answer Refineries, not only am I doing the infrastructural stuff, but I'm building them up as individuals to succeed, whether it is they remain to stay in St. Lucia, or as some of them have done, and now studying overseas.
Yeah.
The record is clear.
And I'm going to say it to the chagrin of many people.
Yes.
I mean, you cannot be wanting to represent the people, rural, and you cannot even say some simple words. You're not acculturated. Ukudi. I mean, I listen to Andre, and I know Andre is not strong in the party. I don't hold that again. But Andre is making an effort to learn and speak the party. You want to represent people, and you do not know their language. You cannot speak their language. Come on.
It's not simply the matter of not being able to communicate fluently in Creole.
Yes.
It is the way in which you use it as if it's a game. It's not a game.
Yes.
Being a member of parliament for a constituency is a very significant and serious responsibility. It is not games. You bring 10 people into a room, and you notice they never show the crowd.
Yeah, never, ever.
You bring 10 people into a room, and you say to them, you're going to say something tonight.
Hey, I'm going to say the Creole tonight.
There was no need for it.
But
The point I'm making. Unless you're thinking that the people who you're seeking to represent are clowns.
Yes.
And we're not clowns. I'm from Answer Refineries, and I'm not a clown. The people of Answer Refineries are not clowns, and they will not be moved by that foolishness. That is why, Andrew, you will not find me going into the gutter in this politics.
That's right.
There are things that we could say about Dominic Fede. I'm telling you, there are things that we know for a fact that we could say about him. But he has a wife, ex-wife, he has a girlfriend, he has children. We have to take those things into consideration when we speak about people. We don't want to be destroying people's families like they are attempting to do. My grandmother has served the constituency of Answer Refineries for a very long time. Why would you bring her into politics? She's deceased, she's resting peacefully. Why would you bring her into this politics? This constituency has fortified me and made me is partly responsible for who I am today. So I take very seriously any attempt to diminish or give the impression that this constituency is not as important as any other constituency.
Yeah, now when we open the lines, listen again, there'll be no speechifying, no speeches. You're going to come to your question. No, I'm not rough. We don't have time to waste. You ask your question, hang up, and the minister will respond. So let me ask Andre to give us the numbers while we wait for your calls.
Sure. The fixed line is 572-9710. Fixed line 572-9710, or you can WhatsApp 287-0971. WhatsApp is 287-0971. So again, the fixed line 572-9710, or WhatsApp 287-0971.
Yeah, for those who don't understand, we're not saying the fact that you cannot speak Creole will not have. Some people don't understand that. But you do not rehearse a sentence for 10 years, and then you set up yourself so bad that you embarrass yourself on a stage trying to ridicule Dr. Kenny D. Anthony.
A former prime minister.
Man, boy, I'll be on your case because you don't do that. That's the elder statesman.
A former prime minister.
You do not do that. You don't try that because you will not have the end of that. And I know if the little jab Kenny gave you about not speaking Creole hurt you, I know that the Kukolorum I know you don't like that.
Or Lilliputian.
I know that's going to kill you. So listen, respect your elders, my boy.
You know
You're not going to do that.
when
You have a call, by the way.
Oh, hey. Now, thanks for calling. You need your headphones. Yes, let me just put my headphones there. Andre got new chairs, so we might have to get new headphones too at some point.
We're going to donate.
Yes, Andre, yes. This time, yes. Okay, good morning. Thanks for calling me the minister. Let's have your question.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Yes, my
Mr.
brother.
Girard,
Yes, sir.
government practice, whenever you're raising funds on behalf of the government and people of St. Lucia, and before you turn that money into the treasury or into any organization, it has to be audited by a recognized auditing company. Am I correct?
No, you're not correct. I don't understand what you're saying. You're saying, just repeat that question again. Anytime government...
If you are doing fundraising on behalf of a government project where there's actual raw cash and you have to turn that money back into the government, into the treasury or a government agency, that money must be audited by a recognized company. Am I correct?
Well, you're not entirely correct. I think you're trying to deliberately mix the... So here what happens? Yes.
No, hold on.
Give the minister a chance to answer, sir. Thanks.
No. I'll just ask him the question.
Yeah, but let me answer because you're referring to two separate things. Yes, if you raising funds and you're suggesting, which is what I believe you're suggesting, goes into an agency. That agency goes through a periodic auditing because it's an external agency is what you're referring to. But if you're raising funds for a community initiative, who's to say where that money ends up? You're presupposing that you are raising revenues or raising funds for a activity through a government agency, and that was not the case with regards to the ambulance, is what you're referring to.
No, but the point I want to make here is somebody went out and raised funds for an ambulance under the caption and using the stationery of the government and people of St. Lucia. That person said they turned the funds into a specific government agency. My question to you is, have you seen an audited report as to how much money was spent and how much profit was made when it went in? That's my question. Thank you.
What I was able to see was what was the cost. We hear very loosely in terms of what was the cost to host the activity, but I've not seen any audited report insofar as what happened.
Caller, we need an audited report of the Pajoa letters too, because a man who is not a finance minister trying to bypass Parliament, seeking to raise $176 million on behalf of the people of St. Lucia. That's a crime in itself. And people are just... anyway.
And he was a cabinet minister. The candidate now for Cashville South was the chief economist in the ministry. And that's why whenever we chat, I say to him, he's on the wrong team.
These fellas, that's criminal behavior, I cannot be sued for that. You're safe. That's criminal behavior. But we have another caller. Good morning, caller. Thanks for calling me the minister. Let's have your question, please. We lost our caller.
Hi, good morning.
Oh, good morning.
Thank you. I enjoy this show. I'm very impressed with everything that's happening here.
Okay, you have a bad connection. Are you there still? Oh my word, Andre, I think we have lost this caller.
Another caller. Good
morning. Thanks for calling me the minister. Let's have your question, please.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Girard. Good morning, Mr. Fellon. My question is to Mr. Girard. After you have been re-elected, what are your plans immediately for your constituency? Because no doubt you will be re-elected. Just tell us what you will do immediately upon re-election.
Thank you, caller. Short and sweet.
Immediately upon re-election, I will say thank you to the constituency of Ansari for renewing their faith in me as a member of parliament. We will then have to, because going into the election, when we put out the manifesto, we'll be taking views of the constituents in terms of where they want to see, in terms of next steps, where they want us to go. So essentially, when we put out that manifesto, because we did so for 2021, indicating the things that we're going to do in the constituency. Likewise, we will be doing that, and then saying to the people of Ancillary Canneries, this is what you said that you wanted. I'm committing to doing it. I'm putting it into the manifesto, so you could then judge me in the next electoral cycle whether or not I delivered on it. But specifically to tell you what it is I'm going to do now, I think it will be wrong, because I'm literally the tribune of the people. So I only say what I pick up from them as opposed to what I would like to do. But if you push me, I would, if I can, and the Minister of Education may not be happy with me, but I think we need to begin to look at how we consolidate some of the infant schools and primary schools. So in the case of ancillary, in terms of the issue of climate change and rising sea levels, the infant school is literally on the beachfront. If I have the opportunity, I would like to relocate that school, because I think it's not in a very safe place. It doesn't allow the young children, the particularly young children of infant school, to have an environment where they could play sufficiently and safely. So that's one of the things, if I have the opportunity, I would definitely be looking to do.
Great stuff. We have another call. Thanks for calling me, the Minister. Let's have your question, please.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing, Mr. Gerard, Andre, and
Morning.
Mr. Gerard, you said a lot, and you put out a list of stuff you've delivered to the constituency, a checklist.
Mm-hmm.
And I know you would not give me the time to go through everyone in detail.
Mm-hmm.
However, I'd like just to pick out a few of them. Yes. And the first one is the Jackmel. You mentioned about the Jackmel playing field and the court.
Mm-hmm.
The Jackmel playing field, as far as I could remember, and I'm from the community, and I did play football there growing up. In between the year 2011 and 2016, it was neglected. The guys actually planted bananas. I'm not sure if you were around to see that. I did not remember seeing you around to see that. But the guys used to plant bananas and dasheen on the field. Cows were on there. Between the period 2016-2021, I remember significant work was done on the Jackmel playing field surface. And one of the issues that was there was the court, the existing court at the time. It was horrible. It was in a horrible condition. The middle of it was sinking. Around it was swamp. So anytime you would want to go on that court to play, you would have to walk through a swamp to get onto the court. I'm not sure that you're aware of that. But probably speaking to your footmen on the ground, they would have informed you of that. And the decision was made through consultation to remove the court, right? To remove the court from that location, because it was between we can almost say that it's a lagoon and a playing field. What also transpired was at the time of the construction of the court, back then, it was placed basically on the playing field. And that's a long time ago. With the removal of the court, the decision was made to extend the playing field to a FIFA-sized playing field. And there were certain speculations in doing so. One would have been to ensure that we have a warm-up area. They would have left space to put on bleachers for further development. So a future plan was also contributed to that development of the playing surface. The playing surface was low. It was increased by a feet or two, and the surface was done by Crafton, from Bossejou. And the installation of the lights was procured, and so on. We can go on and try to figure out what happened with the lights, but we all know what happened with it. It was used on another field. But the issue is the court. The court, the current court that you built. Can you without a doubt say that you had proper consultation in building that court in the existing location that it is today? One.
Okay, wait, caller, let's take this one there. I have allowed you to go on. You should have zeroed it. So we'll take this one there. Let him answer this call, this part of your question, and we'll take another call. So let's go to the call. No. That you have taken too much time already, caller. Caller, Andre, caller. All right, let's answer that question.
Okay, I will explain to you what the idea is about the new location of the court. So yes, there was a court. It was demolished. It was never built back. Yes, Between 2011 and 2016, I'm a member of the St. Lucia Labour Party, but I don't hold responsibility for what happened between 2011 and 2016. I can tell you what happened between 2016 and 2021, and most definitely what is happening between 2021 and now. And you're right, there was a court before. With regards to the location of the new court, yes, consultation was made to ensure that it is off the field, off the warm-up area, to allow for us to have a FIFA qualifying court. With regards to the access you're referring to, very shortly, you will notice there will be a ramp being built from the road by the bus shelter, taking you to the court. So that deals with the access you were referring to. Insofar as whether or not the quality of work was good in between 2011 and 2016, I'm not too sure I should be held responsible for that, but I could assure you the mistakes that were made between 2016 and 2021 with regards to the way this process was handled was not the same case in my particular instance. I ensured that we consulted with regards to the size of the field, the location of the court, and all that is required for it to be a proper FIFA qualifying field. Further, with regards to the seating and the future development we're talking about, very shortly we'll be putting out the drawing to indicate what the options are for the community, and they will decide this is what we think you should go with. So yes, with regards to whether or not there is plan to do those things, I could assure you all of that is in the making.
Okay, we have another call, Andre. Let's
Yes.
have that call. Thanks for calling me, the minister. Let's have your question, please.
Good morning, Andre. Good morning, Mr. Filelo.
Good morning, sir.
Mr.
Good morning, sir.
Wayne Gerard.
Good morning.
Morning to you, sir.
Thanks for accepting my call.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Mr. Wayne Gerard, sweet and short, about our debt. Is our debt being paid properly, managing properly, or are we in any default, anything?
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
thanks for the
Thanks,
call.
yeah.
No, if it's something we could very, very definitively pride ourselves on, at the moment, all of our debt is being serviced, all of our debt is being paid. As a matter of fact, in addition to being able to pay debt, we are also able to save money, which is a very significant difference compared to what took place in the past. So at the moment, we are current with all our bills.
And our debt to GDP ratio is doing
Is on a
101.
is a downward trajectory.
Downward trajectory.
And
More
we move
move
away
into
from
projection.
from short-term borrowing into more long-term concessional funding.
All right, good stuff. Andre,
Yep.
next call.
Not as yet.
Oh, but I think one thing you missed about a call center for
Yes,
answering?
and yes, I would have announced it at the meeting in answering with someone ago. Yes, so we are at the moment in West St. Lucia, in collaboration with the community of Answering, in Ottawa, will be developing a call center. Again, another avenue for the young people of this constituency to access employment opportunity.
Right, so that is on stream, and
Yes,
they will not have to be traveling to Castries for work. Work is coming to meet them and stuff.
You see.
And so, I mean, there's method to the madness.
And there's another significant point, as you raised that point with regards to what I would like to see going forward. The caller asked earlier. I just hazard another thought there. At the moment, it's difficult for you to leave Canaries and go to Millet to drink a beer on an evening. And one of the reasons for that, when you speak to the bus drivers, is the issue of the safety in terms of money's changing hands. I think we need to consider a system where on an evening we find a different way, rather than exchanging cash between the driver and the passenger, to allow for Millet to go to Canaries to have a drink, Belvedere to go to Ansary to have a drink, to allow for the movement in this constituency so the money could spread and circulate. So that's one of the things I'm very keen on seeing happen, because it's for two after a certain period of time, you can't get home if you reside in certain parts of the constituency. And I understand all the issues that they have in terms of concerns, but we need to work through a system where it allows young people to go to night classes and be able to get home safely. People who've contributed to the development of this country, that roaring economy we're talking about, it's people, who've made that possible. At the end of the working day, they should be able to get home without any issues. So that's one of the things I think we need to do going forward as a community.
Let's take a final call and we'll wrap up.
Brother Andre says the final call, so let's take this call. Thanks for calling me, the minister. Let's have your question, please.
Hi, good morning. It's me again. Thanks for taking my
Good
call.
morning.
Yes. Thank you. I just want to ask about the project at Chapine Estate. I know
Yes.
some persons have to be relocated there,
Yes.
but then it seems like it's taking very long.
Yes, and that's thank you
Thank
very
you,
much for
thank you
call.
for that.
And thank you very and that's one of the frustrations of politicians who want to deliver for the people of their constituency. So yes, you're right. In the construction of the new bridge, there are 5 or so affected persons that we're going to be relocating to Champagne Estate. But in addition to that, we have just recently, I believe the infrastructure chief engineer indicated to me that a contract will be awarded to a company to be able to do the infrastructure works, to be able to expand and open up that land in Champagne Estate. So yes, you're very right. Our intention is to make land available, not only just in Champagne Estate. Work has started with the NIC with regards to doing some land development in Roseau. We also have a similar plan for canneries, which I would have made a post about several months ago, where certain people who decided that they would destroy the sign, and I made the post saying that we are going to continue to develop and build while they destroy. So you're very right. Our intention is to make more lands available at the Champagne Estate.
Yeah, as we close now, reality or myth? They say they don't see you. So
yes. And it is. I'm never not accessible. Mm-hmm. There is nothing that any constituent of mine could say they requested and they can't get access to the rep. And yes, for us to have gotten to the point where we could sit there comfortably and say, good economic management, good stewardship, the indicators are okay, it required significant long hours. I don't miss major activities in the constituency, you know. I may not be there every Friday to have a drink, but I don't miss important activities in the constituency. I've never not been available to my constituency. You're right, I may not be good at just liming around. I may not be good at that, and I readily accept that. However, there is not a single request, whether it is a school, church, youth group, youth organization, that has made a request to me, to my office, that has not been fulfilled. I continue and will continue to remain available and accessible to the constituents, and I trust that they could see the difference in the representation. This is not about mepui and bolom and foolishness. This is about transforming the lives of the people and the constituency of Anseray Canneries. We are more than our misfortunes. When you look at me, for example, I'm from Jacmel, and what I've been able to achieve, not just locally, before the Prime Minister selected me as a candidate, because of all the nonsense that was being said, he came to the UK and he met not just people who I worked with immediately, but international agencies who said to him, this gentleman you're sitting next to there, these are the things that he's been able to achieve. And he turned around and he said to me, comrade, you keeping secrets? I'm just not good at blowing my own trumpet because I was raised in a particular Catholic home and I see things a particular way. But that doesn't mean that I'm not working hard tirelessly for my constituents and for the constituency of Anseray Canneries. And come that general election, whenever that may be called, I am confident that the people of Anseray Canneries will be returning to the Senatorial Labour Party.
Yeah, I suspect
I'm going to be generous and allow another call because he's been trying to get through for a while.
That's fine.
Okay,
yeah,
so
we'll take this call. Yes. Welcome, caller. Let's have your question.
Yeah, good morning to you all, gentlemen.
Good morning.
You know, I understand you could see you see a lot of things, but have you ever driven from leaving Vanna and going all the way up to Techime?
Yes.
Have you ever seen the state of the roads? Have you ever heard of bus drivers spending lots of money on the engines and the tires?
Yes.
Have you seen the side of the road where bush is overlapping, that it is dangerous if you're driving a small car or a bus, you know? And as a matter of fact, somebody was killed in a hit and run there, I think last year, because of that bush. Have you ever gone to the top and say, well, let me work on that small community? Have you done that, sir?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Eugene.
Yes.
Thank you.
In fact, I would ask you, as you hang up the call, if you jump in your vehicle, drive to that very part that you're referring to. As of this morning, go there right now, and all of what you're saying to you has been cured. As we speak, go there right now, and you begin to see that work. And yes, I know we have a situation in Senator where we have not found a way to very meticulously and very deliberate have a regime where we level the verges of the side of the road. And I accept that. However, whenever we have an opportunity, resources are made available, I always try my best to ensure that the sides of the roads are either leveled or cut. But if you go to that Techime referring to there right now, you will see the difference that you're asking for. And with regards to the hit and run, I don't think we should blame the bush for reckless driving. I think we should blame the person who did the hit and the run, not the bush. But that's not a separate issue. But if you go there right now, exactly what you're referring to is being attended to.
So as of now, Rep, I think you have done the hard work. The Prime Minister entrusted you to, and the country stabilized, economic growth, we have surpluses that you'll be seen, your constituents will be seeing a lot more.
A lot more of me, because now it's time to celebrate the hard work.
That's right. That's right. So, well, Andre, well, we cannot say, next Friday we meet on a more solemn, somber occasion. We bury Tony, your brother.
Yes.
This is a sad time, so we will not be having meet the minister. So all the fans, it's going to be held at the
La Clery Church.
La Clery Church. So all the
2
fans,
o'clock.
2 o'clock.
2 p.m. Yeah.
And then at the Shock Cemetery. So that's going to be a tough time for us. I consider myself family now. So it's time for us to mourn. So until we meet again, adios, and have a very safe. Young men, put down the guns. Have a safe weekend, everybody.
Thank you, Terry, and thank you, Mr. Gerard.
Thank you very much, Albert. Thank you very much.
This has been Meet the Minister. And this is where I end my stint here on Rev-Up for today, Friday, the 19th of September. Up next, we have Kina. She'll be with you until 3 this afternoon. From 3 until 5, Zen the DJ. And from 5 until 6, we have Powell Politic with Mary Polius. So do enjoy the rest of your day. Andre Paul saying so long.